From the rough streets of Stevenage to the roaring sound of Formula One podiums, to standing alongside royalty, celebrities, and world leaders, he was just a kid with a remote control car and a dream. Today, he's a 7-time world champion, a fashion icon, an activist, a billionaire, and one of the most talked about athletes on the planet. But behind the fame and fortune, behind the designer suits and roaring engines, is a story you haven't fully heard, a story of rise and fall, of controversy, of courage, and of comeback. This isn't just about Formula One. This is about what it takes to rise above expectations, pressure, and the world's spotlight. Stick around, because in this video we're diving deep into Lewis Hamilton's incredible lifestyle, his multi-million-dollar homes, his luxury, cars and jets, his net worth, and even the dark moments the cameras didn't always catch. And yes, we're giving you a full house tour from the inside out. You've never seen anything like it. Get comfortable and let's begin. Long before the lights of Monaco, before the podium champagne and private jets, Lewis Hamilton was just a kid growing up in a small town called Stevenage, just north of London. Born in 1985 to a mixed-race family, a black father, Anthony, and a white mother, Carmen, Lewis didn't grow up surrounded by wealth. But he was surrounded by love, discipline, and a big dream. It all started with a remote-controlled car. At just 6 years old, Lewis would enter RC racing competitions, going up against adults and winning. His natural control, speed, and instincts caught attention early, and that's when his dad made a bold decision. Anthony Hamilton worked multiple jobs, IT manager by day, dishwasher by night, anything to fund Lewis's passion for karting. At 8 years old, Lewis got his first go-kart. By 10, he was winning karting championships, and by 11, he walked into history. In a moment that would change his life forever, a young Lewis approached McLaren boss Ron Dennis and told him, "I want to race for you one day." Ron replied, "Call me in 9 years." He didn't have to wait that long. Lewis would go on to dominate the junior karting scene, becoming one of the most promising young drivers in Britain. It was a father and son mission from day one. With heart, hustle, and a whole lot of belief, the Hamiltons were chasing something far bigger than trophies. They were chasing history, and little did the world know that this boy from Stevenage was about to turn the racing world upside down. Lewis wasn't just winning, he was dominating. At just 13 years old, Lewis Hamilton signed with McLaren's Young Driver program, becoming the youngest ever driver to be backed by an F1 team. From karting, he rocketed through the ranks in Formula Renault. He crushed the competition. Then came GP to the final step before Formula One, and guess what? He made that look easy too. In 2006, he stunned everyone in GP to winning races in dramatic fashion, including one of the most iconic drives at Silverstone. Then, in 2007, Lewis Hamilton made history. The first black driver in Formula One. Right out the gate, he shocked the world. Pole positions, podiums, wheel-to-wheel battles with the best. He was a rookie, racing like a champion. But it wasn't just about speed, it was about representation. Every race was bigger than a race, and every win a statement. And then came the rivalry. In his rookie season, Lewis went head-to-head with his own teammate, the reigning world champion, Fernando Alonso. Things got intense. To drivers, one team, and only one championship dream. It was one of the most dramatic seasons in F1 history, and just a year later, in 2008, Lewis Hamilton did the impossible. In the final race of the season, in the final corner, on the final lap, he made the pass that won him the world championship. At just 23 years old, Lewis became the youngest world champion in Formula One history at the time, and the first black man to ever do it. He was now more than just a racing driver. He was a global superstar, signed by brands, followed by millions, and admired by a whole new generation of fans. But fame comes at a price, and the real challenges were only just beginning. Behind every champion is a storm of challenges most never see. And for Lewis Hamilton, the road to greatness was never smooth. In 2011 and 2012, Hamilton hit a rough patch. Slumps in performance, frustration with the McLaren team, headlines questioned his focus. Critics wondered if the fire had gone out. Behind the scenes, relationships at McLaren were strained. By the end of 2012, Lewis made the boldest move of his career, leaving the team that made him to start fresh with Mercedes. The backlash was instant. Pundits called it a mistake. Fans were divided, and online critics weren't kind, and just when things looked back on track. Another rivalry was brewing, this time with teammate Nick Rosberg. Friends turned foes, their battles were fierce on and off the track, infighting. Team tension, penalties, fines. It was chaos. But Lewis didn't back down. In 2020, Hamilton took his voice beyond the track. The only black driver in Formula One became its loudest activist. His stance on Black Lives Matter sparked global conversation and criticism. Some fans turned, some brands flinched, and even F1's own governing body hesitated, but Lewis stayed firm. Not just a driver, a leader, and an advocate for those who felt unseen. Then came 2021, one of the most controversial endings in Formula One history. Abu Dhabi, final lap, final race. A decision by race control cost Hamilton his 8th world title. Fans were outraged, F1 was shaken, and for the first time, Lewis disappeared from the spotlight. But the thing about Lewis Hamilton, he always comes back. In 2013, Lewis Hamilton made a move that confused the entire racing world. Leaving McLaren, a championship-winning team, for Mercedes, critics called it risky, some said it was foolish, but Lewis, he had a vision, and in 2014, that vision came alive. The turbo hybrid era began, and with it, the most dominant run in modern F1 history. From 2014 to 2020, Lewis Hamilton redefined greatness. 7 world championships, 103 Grand Prix wins, 100 for pole positions, over 190 podiums, fastest laps. Records shattered, legacy cemented. In 2020, he did the unthinkable, tying the legendary Michael Schumacher with 7 world titles. But it wasn't just about the numbers. It was about heart. It was about sacrifice. And it was about breaking barriers for everyone watching who never saw themselves in the sport before. At Silverstone, his home race, 140,000 fans rose to their feet, chanting his name, tears in their eyes, because they weren't just watching a driver. They were witnessing a legend. He wasn't just dominating Formula One, he was transforming it, from the kid with a remote control car to the most successful driver in F1 history. He's not just fast on the track, he's just as fast at building a fortune. With an estimated net worth of over $300 million, Lewis Hamilton has become one of the richest athletes on the planet. But unlike many stars, he didn't just rely on salary and trophies. He's worked with some of the biggest brands in the world, from the runways of Tommy Hilfiger to the high-end precision of IWC watches, to longtime partners like Puma and Mercedes-Benz. But Lewis doesn't just wear the clothes. He helps design them. His fashion collaborations are bold, inclusive, and uniquely him, breaking the mold of what a racing driver should look like. Oh, and he's also dabbled in music, writing, recording, even collaborating with global artists under a hidden pseudonym. In 2020, Lewis launched his own electric racing team, X44, in the sustainable racing series Extreme E. A move that wasn't just about racing, but about raising awareness for climate change. And that's not all. Lewis has ventured into the world of crypto, NFTs, and green tech investments. He's constantly looking forward, innovating, evolving. Hamilton isn't just building wealth. He's building a legacy of ownership and impact. From the garage to the boardroom, Lewis Hamilton has proven he's just as sharp in business as he is behind the wheel. When you've conquered the world of Formula One, you don't just live anywhere. You live in style with the city at your feet. Welcome to Lewis Hamilton's $40 million Tribeca Penthouse in New York City, a custom-designed 6,547 square foot sanctuary in the heart of Manhattan. Step inside, and you're greeted by a stunning open-plan living room with 20-foot ceilings, marble accents, and panoramic views of the city skyline. The bathrooms, wrapped in imported marble. The kitchen, minimalist, modern, and fully equipped, perfect for the plant-based meals Lewis prefers. And yes, there's a private elevator. Head upstairs, and it only gets better. An outdoor patio made for quiet mornings and summer parties. A private infinity pool that looks out over the Hudson River and just steps away. Celebrity neighbors like Justin Timberlake and Jake Gyllenhaal. But New York isn't his only home. In London's exclusive Knightsbridge neighborhood, Hamilton owns a stunning mansion worth over $25 million. This historic estate features 6 bedrooms, a private cinema, a gym, and a sunlit garden terrace. Inside, restored Victorian details meet cutting-edge tech and eco-conscious design. Of course, every F1 driver needs a home in Monaco, and Hamilton's modern apartment is perched perfectly above the iconic streets he once raced through. But perhaps most surprising is his Colorado mountain retreat, a peaceful, secluded hideaway where Lewis escapes the spotlight. Built with recycled materials and solar panels, this eco-friendly home reflects his love for nature and sustainability. From urban luxury to quiet wilderness, Lewis Hamilton's properties aren't just houses. They're carefully crafted reflections of a man who lives fast but thinks deeply. In every corner of the world he calls home. There's style, there's purpose, and there's peace. When you're one of the fastest men alive, naturally, your garage is just as legendary. Let's talk about machines. The Pagani Zonda 760L H1 of 1, made specifically for Lewis, a Mercedes AMG1, the closest thing to a street-legal F1 car. A LaFerrari, a McLaren P1. The list goes on. His garage isn't just a collection. It's a tribute to speed, design, and power. At one point, he even owned his own custom Bombardier Challenger 605 jet, complete with red leather seats and his initials stitched into the interior, but Lewis isn't who he used to be. In recent years, he's traded luxury excess for purpose. He's shifted toward a plant-based lifestyle, minimalist fashion, and eco-conscious driving. Today, he proudly drives electric vehicles, promotes sustainable fashion, and speaks openly about reducing his carbon footprint. That doesn't mean he's lost his edge. His taste is still sharp, from high-end watches to rare art, but every piece tells a story now. Every choice is intentional. Lewis Hamilton still lives large. But it's not about how much he owns, it's about how he lives, from roaring engines to quiet change. Lewis proves that even in a world of speed, slowing down can be the boldest move of all. Behind the cameras, behind the podiums, Lewis Hamilton has lived a life filled with attention and mystery. Over the years, Lewis has been linked to a number of high-profile relationships, most famously with Nicole Scherzinger, lead singer of the Pussycat Dolls. Their on- and off relationship lasted nearly 7 years. Filled with glamour, headlines, and ultimately, heartbreak, he's also been rumored to date other A-list names. But nothing ever confirmed, and through it all, he's stayed deeply private. As of now, Lewis Hamilton is not married and he has no children. His life has been driven by a different kind of passion, purpose, racing, and family. His father, Anthony Hamilton, played a huge role in his rise, a man who worked multiple jobs just to fuel his son's dream, and his brother Nicholas, who was born with cerebral palsy, has always been Lewis's anchor. A constant reminder of strength, courage, and perspective while the world sees Hamilton the superstar. His inner circle knows him simply as Lewis, the brother, the son, the dog dad to Roscoe. And a man still figuring life out, just like the rest of us, because at the heart of greatness is family, and for Lewis Hamilton, that's the most important podium of all. For Lewis Hamilton, winning championships was just one part of the mission. The other making sure others had the chance to dream just as big. In 2020, he launched the Hamilton Commission, a bold initiative aimed at increasing diversity in motorsport, tackling the hard questions about race, access, and opportunity in a sport historically built for the privileged few. The commission doesn't just talk, it acts, publishing reports driving change in education and reshaping how teams scout and hire talent through scholarships and youth programs. Lewis is now inspiring the next generation of racers, especially those who never thought Formula One was for them, but his mission goes far beyond racing. He's worked with UNICEF, Save the Children, and numerous charities, donating to causes that support education, equality, and emergency relief. He's also a passionate animal rights advocate, supporting veganism, promoting cruelty-free brands, and funding animal rescue efforts around the world. And when it comes to the environment, he walks the talk. Lewis invests in sustainable startups, promotes clean energy, and lives by example, even selling his private jet to reduce his carbon footprint. He's not just paving roads with rubber. He's paving paths of possibility. Lewis Hamilton may go down as the greatest driver of all time, but what he's building off the track, that might be his greatest victory yet. From the kart tracks of Stevenage to the streets of Monaco, to the top of the Formula One world, Lewis Hamilton's legacy is bigger than trophies, bigger than titles, bigger than racing. He's a racing icon, yes, but also an activist, a role model, a voice for change. He broke records. He broke barriers, and he's still not done. What's next? An 8th world title, a Formula One team of his own, retirement, and a new chapter. Whatever comes next, one thing's certain: Lewis Hamilton will keep moving forward with purpose, with passion, with pride. If you enjoyed this journey through the life of Lewis Hamilton, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop a comment below. What do you think is next for Lewis? Thanks for watching. Keep racing forward.